Welcome back everyone, Geordie Retro Chasers, episode 4. Welcome back everyone, episode 4, GRC. Okay, so before we get into this week's footage, because we've been back out in the wild to the usual boot fairs, tried something new, got some decent pickups this week. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who showed me the love from last week's episode and from last week's video when we visited Game Galaxy and then tailed off with some boot fair pickups at the end. This week, as I've said, we are back out in the Northeast Wild. The weather has been a little bit kind to us this week, a little bit kinder than it was last week. So we've hit the obligatory boot fairs. We've done the same, 3 in the last 2 days. We've tried a new one. Well, not a new one to us, but one that we're not so common with the visiting. Got some pretty decent pickups to show you coming up on the footage, and then obviously we'll run you through my favourites from the weekend as per usual at the end of the show. So let's get out there, let's get the backpack on, let's get the coat on, let's head out in the wild and let's see if we can find any of that 80s and 90s nostalgic goodness. Before we do that though guys, do me one favour if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We are quite a new channel, so every little helps. I'm sure you've heard that somewhere before. So if you're not already a subscriber and you're logged into YouTube, do me a favour, just hit the subscribe button. If not, you can always check us out on some of our other socials, my Insta and the Facebook group. It'll be in the description underneath this video. Anyways, into this week's pickups. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Okay guys, here we are. Made it to our first car boot of the weekend. Sun is shining, the weather's dry. Hopefully we can find a few bargains, some of that retro goodness, that 80s and 90s nostalgia goodness. We've had a couple of hits here before. It's generally a small one, but without further ado, let's get inside and see what we can find. Cheers. First purchase. Okay guys, so we seem to have found what looks like a contract figure. Okay, morning guys. So we are at car boot fair number 2 of the weekend. Let's get it on.
Cement place.
I can come.
Yeah, you come.
We load the van and then you take my car.
Yeah. We all like to do it. You just sit and keep it going.
I don't know. I'm gonna do it in as well. I like it in here.
Alright guys, welcome back. So, hope you enjoyed being out in the wild, as much as we were out there. So, as normal, we had 3 car boot sales in 2 days. 2 we are pretty familiar with, which is the one on the Saturday, and the one we went to really early this morning. And then this afternoon, at lunchtime, the one that we're not so familiar with. The reason we went to that one, rather than the one that we normally go to, was because of the weather. When we left, it was starting to rain. The one that we went to is in an old cattle market, so it made complete sense for us to go to that one because it's under the cover. So regardless of the rain, we could still, shoot and still grab some stuff and hopefully find some decent bargains. Okay, so we did find some pretty decent stuff up there today. So we're going to go through it as per normal, looking at the pickups. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and keep this part of the episode a little bit shorter because I do tend to ramble and I do tend to try, or it has been being stretched out a little bit. So yes, let's get on with it and let's move into it. So we're going to have a look at a shout out from someone, and then we'll move into the knickknacks, and then we'll have a look at the pickups that I believe were the stuff that I thought were the best. So firstly, actually what I want to do is first I want to go through 2 things that I forgot last week, which I almost nearly just forgot this week. And just quickly, one was something I grabbed from Games Galaxy, which I forgot to show you guys, was a nice boxed Final Fight for the Super Famicom. So big shout out again to the guys at the Games Galaxy for that. And the second thing that I forgot was the game that I'm currently trying to play through at the minute, which is the Mafia Remastered Trilogy on PS4. If you're not familiar with these series of games, I can't recommend them enough. Go out, grab them, get them played. They are awesome. Yeah, thanks. Alright, so let's have a look at some of the little knickknacks I picked up, and then we'll have a look at some of the bigger stuff, and then we are done for another week. Okay, so the first thing we picked up was this dude. You'd have seen him in the footage. I'm pretty sure his name is Afro Thunder or Thunder Afro, one of the two. He is from the Ready to Rumble series. Remember playing this more fondly on the PS2. He actually came with a set. It was almost like a Rock'em Sock'em style electronic game. It came with the ring and the opposing guy. But I thought for 50p, not a bad pickup, and I think he will look pretty awesome on the shelf. Yeah, not a bad pickup for 50p. Okay, so something I don't find very often, or I don't think I've ever found at the excuse me, at the boot fairs, are new old stock or old new stock. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But I found 2 in the space of 2 days, and they're only little knick-knacky things, but they were worth pretty, picking up for the sake of, I think, £1.50 or £1 each, whatever they were. The first one was, which you'll have seen them in the footage, the Bart Simpson mobile phone case. I'm not sure if anyone has a mobile phone that small now. Is dated 1996, so pretty decent little pickup from the 90s. The next thing is, again, proper knick-knacky, something that, I've never seen or I'm not familiar with, and it's these magic pads, these Mighty Morphin Power Rangers magic pads. And what you do with this is, again, excuse the glare, I am going to order a tripod to try and get rid of that glare. But anyways, you take your coin and you scratch across the paper, just like you would with a scratch card. It unveils a picture, which then you can colour in with your pens or your pencils. These are sealed. The guy actually had about 4 or 5 packs of them in one large cardboard box. If you're out there and you're saying, why didn't you grab them all? I don't know, I just grabbed one, but yeah, nice little pickup. Okay, so I'm going to do a shout out to a viewer who reached out to me on Instagram, and that is a chap called the Courier. So he said he had a shed load of PS2 games that he was wanting rid of. Do I want to take them off his hands? I can have them for free. We're talking, 3-figure number here, which is, I really appreciative, but not for me. 1, the misses were killers, and 2, I've got definitely nowhere to put 300 PlayStation games. So he sent me some other bits. He said, I've got other bits for trades, for sales. So I said, send me what you've got, let me have a look. And he sent me a stack of GameCube games. There was no huge big titles in there, no double dashes or, no Metroids or anything like that. But you know, there was 3 or 4 in there. I thought, why not for the price? They were, you know, under a fiver. Pretty decent pickups. You know, certainly one that I'm definitely going to look forward to playing with my daughter, and one, you know, that I'm going to look forward to playing through. And the other two are the other two. So the first one, which I'm definitely not that familiar with, is Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. Yeah, definitely a little filler, but is what it is. The next one, which I am familiar with, is Outlaw Golf. Great pickup, guys. If you like a golf game, got a little bit of edginess to it. Don't get us wrong, it's definitely not Tiger Woods, but it's definitely one you should. It's worth out checking on the GameCube if you've got the system. And the last two, which are again, this one I'm going to enjoy playing through because I didn't play through it back in the day when I had the cube, was Rogue Leader, Star Wars. So yeah, I'm going to probably hang on to that, play through that. And one I'm going to play, which I'm probably going to look forward to playing most of all with my daughter. I actually passed up a DVD last week, which I regret when I was looking back at the footage, but it is what it is. And that is Rugrats. And that is Rugrats Royal Ransom. So yeah, big shout out to the Courier for hooking me up with these. Big up yourself. Big love to you. Keep watching. Cheers, man. Thank you. Alright guys, so like I said, I'm going to try and keep this video a bit as short as possible. Another couple of little bits we need to go through. As you've seen, they're already out on the shelf. We picked up 2 Hawk figures. The wrestling figures, I'm sure I called these Kenner in one of my episodes, and my friend Mark, big shout out again Mark for the thumbnails, he was pretty quick to tell me that they were not Kenner and they are in fact Hasbro, and I have no idea why on earth I called them Kenner, but I did. Anyways, I'm rambling. Picked these up. So as you've seen in the footage, was rutting through the bin as you've got to do, getting it to the bottom, seeing that sweet cane. I was going to take that cane. As I got to the bottom, seeing this dude's little red feet, you know, if you look, watch back, you can see his little red tooters are popping up. As I got there, picked them out, walked to the woman, thought, here we go. She knows what I've got. I'm probably going to be looking at, you know, well, 5 each, 4 quid each. And I said, how much for the wrestlers? She said, are they for you? I said, yes, they are. She went, well, they're my son's, who's now 38. I said, well, that's ironic because I'm 39. So she said, yeah, well, give me a quid each for them. Done. You are coming home with me, guys. I know the two are the same, and I'm pretty sure they are Hawk. Don't worry, I'm sure one of the viewers will correct me if I'm mistaken, from the Legion of Doom, and I remember his partner's called Animal. You know, I know you all like to have a little go at my WWF knowledge, but there we are. Pretty stoked, got them two on the shelves. Alright, guys. We are getting there. We are getting there, and I'm trying to condense this video down, like I said. Okay, so we have 2 more sets of pickups to go through, and then we're done. So this one was a bit of a random one. It was a little bit out of my price range when I first picked him up. Guy wanted a tenner. I thought, nah, I'm doing him for 10 hours. I went to put him back. He said, well, I'll tell you what, give me a £5. I thought, for the sake of a £5, why not? And he is dated 1996, and he, of course, is Tony the Tiger from Kellogg's Frosties. Loved the Frosties cereal, still do. Remember the adverts fondly as a child, which are now unfortunately banned in the UK, so you don't get to see Tony on our TV screens anymore, which is a little bit of a sad story. Then, ironically enough, when we were at a car boot today, I found a porcelain mug to match, and it was great. Yeah, I can't believe I've just said that. You'll have seen it in the footage. It was dated 96. I'm sure I've been trying to show you to get rid of that glare. I don't know if I've mentioned, we do have a tripod on order, which will get rid of the glare eventually when I'm trying to show you these things. Along with him, as you can see, you know, at the start of these videos, we wanted to fill these 2 shelves, which we're doing very nicely. This one with Warner Brothers Knickknacks, and this one with wrestling. We picked up a Tasmanian Devil Cup. A bit dirty inside, but nothing a little clean won't do. Dated 97. Again, I showed you in the footage, so I didn't have to get up close and blind you with my circle light. So yeah, he'll go on the shelves. Pretty happy. On we go. Alright guys, we are pretty much almost there. We have the last things to go through. So, if you are familiar with hunting in the wild or hunting for retro things, it's been a laborious day. You know, you've been up since 7 a.m. Hasn't been very fruitful. You know, you're thinking, that's it. The footage will be short. And then all of a sudden, the second-hand or the boot fair or the flea market, whatever you want to call it, the flea market, the boot fair gods shine down on you and they rescue you and save the day. That's what happened this afternoon. Just as I was about to leave, the second last booth of the very last boot fair of the day had two bins. One had old comics in it, which I had a quick look at, and they weren't for me. The second one was filled with graphic novels. And again, you've seen the footage right at the end. It was the last piece of footage before I came back on. And I managed to take 4 or 5 graphic novels, 3 Batman ones, and 2 other movie-related ones. So let's quickly go through them. One I'll leave to last because they are my favourites, and I'll show you the 2 that are the non-Batman related ones. The first one is dated 1994, and it is a Star Wars, and it is pretty thick, and he is in amazing condition. It is Star Wars Dark Empire. Never read it, not familiar with it. Absolute buzz to read this. Gonna really enjoy that. And moving on is now something I am familiar with. I am familiar with the cartoons, with the comics, with the movies, and I don't know if this is the comics rolled into one graphic novel or if it's something that stands out on its own. I have to do a bit of research on it. Is Alien versus Predator. Like I said, again, in lovely condition. I'm not sure when this is dated. I can possibly have a quick look and see if there is a date on the inside. 1991 it is dated, so yeah, thank you very much. Paid around about 14 quid I think for all 5 or 4 or whatever they are, 5. Alright guys, the top 3, my favourite 3, and then we are done for another week. Okay, so if you know me well or if you don't, I'm about to tell you in anyways, I am a huge Batman fan. You can see my Batman shelf here. The original 2 movies pretty much changed my life. The Tim Burton ones, I even have a collection of the original figures to match those 3. Downstairs, minty on card, and nicely on display in the front room. Mrs. GRC allows me to have some little bits out downstairs. But these are related to the original movie, and they are the graphic novels of the first 2 movies, so I can show you these. There is the first one featuring Jack Nicholson as the Joker. It is literally the movie in a graphic novel. Following on from that, of course, Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito as the Penguin. The Caped Crusader still being played by who I believe is probably the best Batman. You know, a lot of people are going to find that controversial because, you know, don't get me wrong, Christian Bale is brilliant, but for me, Michael Keaton, I think that's because it captured my imagination as a child. So because of that, you know, I've probably give this the pickup of my week. As I said, you know, that movie changed my life as a child, so to add this to my collection and to read it, I'm really happy. And that is the official book of the movie for the original Batman, done by Tim Burton, you know, directed by Tim Burton. Real shame that they didn't allow him to finish his trilogy. But there we have it. So that is it. That is another week's worth of pickups. That is another episode of Geordie Retro Chasers wrapped up. Big love to everyone who left comments last week. If I could ask you for one thing, it is to hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any more of our content. If you don't want to do that, that's up to you. Then there is our Instagram handle, which you can always have a look at, where we release weekly photos and small videos on there. Yeah, cheers guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'm going to see you all again next week for episode 5. Alright guys. Peace.